K98 Talk is expanding its lineup for 2015. This means we are expanding our advertising base. Whether you're a startup trying to push through to the next level or an established business trying to supplement your advertising budget, web-based advertising is a solid investment. Thanks to Talk's newest partnership with TuneIn Radio and instant access to our sister station, K98 FM, we give you worldwide access at a reasonable cost. Interested parties should email us at sales@k98fm.com. K98talk.com, a leader in internet radio. So grab your seatbelts and take the ride of your life on K98talk.com.
We will keep this promise to the American people. If you like your doctor, you will be able to keep your doctor, period. If you like your health care plan, you will be able to keep your health care plan, period.
This is the most transparent administration in history. Not even a smidgen of corruption.
Fact is, we had 4 dead Americans. What difference at this point does it make?
If you got a business, you didn't build that.
Oh, welcome to the face. Welcome to the face of the new democracy. Don't expect us to admit a mistake. We're paying off election debts to those on the take. Attorney General's lying even while
It's time to hear the truth about America's biggest challenges. You're listening to America Off the Rails with your host, Rick Robinson.
All right, folks. Give me just a moment here. Technical issues abound. Yay. I am the luckiest man on the face of the earth. Sorry about that. All right, folks. You know, always trying to tweak things behind the scenes, and apparently I zigged when I should have zagged on one of these settings. All right, so I am Rick Robinson, host of America Off the Rails, and it is Monday, February 2nd, Groundhog Day. Punxsutawney Phil has failed us again. As far as I'm concerned, somebody needs to skin that. And almost said a wordy dirt. We're going to try to cut those back a little bit tonight. May have a little less filter than usual. The day job was a real bear today, so I'm kind of exhausted. But anyway, anybody who's up for skinning and either barbecuing or fricasseeing Punxsutawney Phil, I'm down for that. Anybody who wasn't paying attention, apparently the little fat bastard saw his shadow today. So we are now probably doomed for 6 weeks more of winter. Don't know about you folks, but where I'm at, it's really, really cold today. So I'm pretty sure we are probably doomed to six weeks more of coldness. Lots of stuff I do want to talk about today. We do only have an hour, so I'm going to try to get to as much of it as I can. Some of it, some folks have already been talking about, but I feel like I've got to try to at least put my little bit of a spin on it. I don't know about you guys, but if you are following me on Twitter, which if you're not, why not? Come on, I have lots of cool folks I pal around with on Twitter. I mean, come on, Politabunny's my friend on Twitter. Or I guess, I'm sorry, on Twitter it's called a follower, not a friend. But you know what? I consider her a friend, so I don't care. But anyway, so last night, after the Super Bowl, I'm like cruising around social media, listening to everybody who's a Patriots fan all thumping their chest, and everybody who's a Seahawks fan crying in their beer. I happen to be the Seahawks fan. Sadly, I didn't have any beer, so I was having to cry in my Dr. Pepper. A little bit of backstory. The reason I am a Seahawks fan, you know, I mean, you guys have heard me talk about this before if you've been listening to me for a while. I'm not a diehard sports guy. Most guys I know would count me as really, really lucky because I have a wife that really, really enjoys football. Sadly enough, for the most part, I kind of don't. Ultimate irony. I do like college football. I have issues with folks making millions of dollars playing a game that we all played in our backyard. That being said, I do typically get a little more fired up around playoffs time because it's always cool to see who's going to make it into the big game, so to speak. Now, as far as that goes, I've always been a Dallas fan ever since I was a little kid. I'm born and raised in Oklahoma for the most part. We did move around quite a bit, so I had some exposure to the Seahawks. I actually got to go watch them play live several times while I was a teenager, while I lived in the Seattle area. And then, of course, moved to the East Coast for a while and kind of started following the Redskins and the Eagles a little bit. Now, by default, the Redskins have kind of become, I guess, really my third or second team, because things have changed for me a little bit. Over time, I'm still a Dallas fan, but the biggest thing is, with being in Oklahoma, you can't really be a Dallas fan and be from Oklahoma for several reasons. One is because it's Jerry Jones is the primary reason we will probably never see a professional football team here, because he's a conniving, backstabbing bastard. No offense, Jerry, you've done a great job building your market and everything else, but the whole fact that you and the guy from Kansas City basically have everything bought off to make sure there's no way for us to get a team here in the middle, both of y'all kind of suck. And I know you had a lot more to do with that than the Kansas City folks did. So my love for the Cowboys have kind of dwindled, because I've noticed here in my hometown, now that we have a basketball team, things are a lot different around here. So I really would like, with as much as we are into college football, I'm really not surprised, or I'm really surprised they haven't found a way to try to get a football team in here. I mean, come on. Some of the smallest states around have football teams, and we don't. Anyway, that being said, my biggest issue with all of that, is, Dallas has kind of fallen into my number 3 spot. Redskins, it was a toss-up between the Redskins and the Eagles for a while, but with all the controversy and everything that they have gone through, they've kind of moved into my number 2 spot. And then over the last few years, watching Seattle kind of go from the team that when I lived in Seattle, everybody used to buy the tickets to watch who Seattle played against, not Seattle play, to now not only having a Super Bowl, but a shot at another one. So they have kind of become my number 1 team. That being said, I was a little disappointed by the ending last night. As you've noticed, for those of you who can see the title, of course, if you're listening on TuneIn, you can't. But the title of today's episode is The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly of the Bowl. The good was the fact that the Seahawks actually made it a game. Everybody assumed going in they were going to be spanked, because a lot of folks didn't even feel that they deserved to be there after they hung on by the skin of their teeth with Green Bay. But it was a really, really good game. Several things that I call the bad of the game. Some of it we'll get to in a minute, because some of it has to do with some of the commercials they played. I mean, as somebody who's not always been into football, sometimes the commercials are one of the reasons why I always tuned in. I mean, it's always fun to see who's going to blow tons and tons and tons of money to have a 45-second spot on the Super Bowl, but some of these were downright depressing. One of which I'm only going to play and not really have much comment on. I think some folks on social media took care of that, which kind of brings me back to where I started just a moment ago. After the Super Bowl was said and done, I was making the rounds on social media trying to see what everybody was talking about, and I noticed apparently this deal about a commercial that I must have missed. Must have been one of the times I was going back to get another meatball sub or going back in to grab a brownie or whatever it was. But there was apparently a commercial put out by Always, and the biggest thing is it was entitled Like a Girl, and apparently it made a pretty prominent hashtag on social media. Now, I'm not going to say too much about this one way or the other, except for the fact that I think the folks that were talking about Like a Girl, they kind of got most of the concept wrong, because when guys talk about Like a Girl, they're really not talking about girls. Normally, when we start talking about somebody throwing like a girl or acting like a girl, or doing anything like a girl, it's usually an insult aimed at another guy. Now, if the fact that guys like to pick on each other and insult one another offends you, you should probably not hang around so many guys, because that's... Look, I'm going to be honest. Every single friend I have that's a guy, we give each other crap. That is the basis of our relationship, is how much crap can we give each other just to see exactly how far we're going to push it and see who gets pissed off first. That is the basis of all relationships for guys. ad infinitum for as long as I can remember. Even when I used to work as a team leader at a call center here before it shut down in Oklahoma, there was this guy who I always worked with, and he was actually a team leader before I was. So that was kind of the big deal. You know, he was always more comfortable around me because he knew my background, because we talked. I'd been a business owner and a manager the majority of my life in one form or another, and I tend to carry myself that way even when I'm not in that role. So we got to know each other. We started hanging out, and of course, once he got to know me and he realized I could take a joke, every time we saw each other, we would see exactly how much crap we could give each other. That's just how guys are. I'm not saying it's normal. I'm not saying it's how we ought to be, but it's just kind of the way we are. We're not touchy-feely, mushy types. It's, hey, if I'm giving you crap, it's because I care about you. Is that normal? Not to women, but I really don't care. The whole point is, and again, I'm not saying anything about the commercial because I'm not a girl. I think there were plenty of conservative females on social media that said it all for me. You can actually find quite a few of those on Twitter. If you look up the hashtag like a girl, you can find a lot of negative connotations, and even folks talking about how they were never going to support an Always product ever again, all because of the idiocy of that commercial. I gotta say, like I said, I'm not a guy, so I'm not gonna say anything one way or the other, except for the fact that I think somebody was kind of making a big deal over nothing, because that's kind of a generational thing too, which the commercial kind of pointed out. Most younger girls, when say things like, you know, we'll do this like a girl, they just do it, because there's not so much of the picking and making each other crazy and trying to push each other's buttons, because we can't do it anymore because it's not politically correct. And if we do that, we run the risk of being expelled or fired or written up, because everybody's got to get along, damn it. Don't you know that? Everybody has to get along. We all have to be one big happy family, unless you're a Muslim. Then you basically get to do whatever you want to do whenever the hell you want to do it, and if nobody likes it, complain about bacon. And then you'll have everybody's attention again, and you can go back to doing whatever you want to do until you push somebody's buttons again, and then you just complain about bacon. And then everybody shuts up. Oh my God, we've offended them because of bacon. Wait, there's a bacon billboard over there. We better take it down. We better do it now. You know, why is everybody in the world now so suddenly afraid of being offended or offending someone? What the hell difference does it make if I'm offended? It's going to last 30 seconds and I'm going to get over it. If I'm not, then that's my damn problem. I mean, some of you know my backstory. I could be this angry guy, point conceded before anybody says anything, who sits at home and does absolutely nothing. I don't do that. I could be collecting 14 different kinds of checks. I don't do that either. Why? Because I feel I can still contribute. Part of the reason I feel I can still contribute is because I figured out it's a lot better to be comfortable in your own skin. Part of the ways I've gotten there is by realizing the same thing I'm trying to tell you guys. If you're another guy and a guy is picking on you, he's most of the time, I mean, you can tell if they're trying to be dicks. You really can. But if it's something that's just kind of done in fun, it's because we don't know how to express emotions very well. So that's what we do. We give each other crap. That's it. So when a guy looks at another guy and says, "Hey man, you hit like a girl," most of the time it's because one, you either hit like a girl, or two, the dude actually kind of thinks you're kind of cool, but you still hit like a girl. Unless, of course, it's Obama. If you say he does something like a girl, it's because he does pretty much everything like a girl. From throwing a baseball to riding a bike to the way he wears his jeans. Kind of makes you wonder which one of them is the actual female in the marriage. Because have you seen some of those pictures of Michelle? I swear there's a stiffy hiding under some of those dresses. I'm just saying. But anyway, so back to what I was talking about. We're going to actually play a couple of the commercials that really pushed my buttons. This one didn't necessarily push mine, but I figured I'd kind of share the concept for anybody else who might have missed it, so you can kind of maybe scratch your head like I'm doing right now, because this commercial was just really kind of odd. And it's the one that made the biggest media storm on social media anyway. Soon as I find it. Here we go.
Hi, Erin.
Hi.
Okay, so I'm going to just give you some actions to do. I just do the first thing that comes to mind. Show me what it looks like to run like a girl.
My hair.
Show me what it looks like to fight like a girl. Now throw like a girl.
Aw. My name is Dakota, and I'm 10 years old.
Show me what it looks like to run like a girl. Throw like a girl. Fight like a girl. What does it mean to you when I say run like a girl?
It means run fast as you can.
So do you think you just insulted your sister?
No. I mean, yeah, insulted girls, but not my sister.
Is like a girl a good thing?
Actually, I don't know if it's a bad thing or a good thing. It sounds like a bad thing. It sounds like you're trying to humiliate someone.
So when they're in that vulnerable time, between 10 and 12, how do you think it affects them when somebody uses like a girl as an insult?
I think it definitely drops their self-confidence and really puts them down, because during that time, they're already trying to figure themselves out. And when somebody says you hit like a girl, it's like, well, what does that mean? Because they think they're a strong person. It's kind of like telling them that they're weak and they're not as good as them.
And what advice do you have to young girls who are told they run like a girl, kick like a girl, hit like a girl, swing like a girl?
Keep doing it, because it's working. If somebody else says that running like a girl, or kicking like a girl, or shooting like a girl is something that you shouldn't be doing, that's their problem. Because if you're still scoring, and you're still getting to the ball on time, and you're still being first, you're doing it right. It doesn't matter what they say. I mean, yes, I kick like a girl, and I swim like a girl, and I walk like a girl, and I wake up in the morning like a girl, because I am a girl. And that's not something that I should be ashamed of. So I'm going to do it anyway. That's what they should do. If I asked you to run like a girl now, would you do it differently? I would run like myself.
Would you like a chance to redo it?
Why can't run like a girl also mean win the race?
Okay, so now you heard it just like I got to hear it right before, and you can actually find it on YouTube if you want to watch. Actually, the beginning of it, in my opinion, was a little funny. Bunch of different girls and guys imitating what they think it means to do things like a girl. If you're offended by that, kiss my ass. I mean, dude, I'm done pulling punches. This crap is getting old. We can't spend the rest of our lives being afraid that we're going to piss people off. Everybody pisses everybody off at one point or another. If you can't deal with it, that's not my problem. Plain and simple. Oh, you're going to get offended because somebody says, ooh, I hit like a girl. You know what? The next time somebody tells you you hit like a girl, walk up and punch them in the... Well, never mind. I'm not going to finish that sentence because I don't want to get sued. But anyway... Simple fact of the matter is, if you don't like something, that typically means it's an issue inside of you, not an issue external to you. So maybe you need to figure out how to fix something on the inside. Because if you're offended because somebody says you do something like a girl, it seems to me that maybe you already had that thought to begin with. Because when somebody says I do something like a girl, I laugh my ass off. I'm just going to be completely honest here. I really don't care. Because, okay, so I do something like a girl. You know what? I'm fat, I'm old, and I'm still breathing, and I've been through a hell of a lot. So the fact that I'm still vertical, every single one of y'all can kiss my ass. I'm just saying, I don't care. It's stupid to get this offended over crap that doesn't even matter. And then people that don't agree with you start trying to voice their opinions on social media, and you start attacking them for giving opinions that you don't agree with. I mean, come on. I think somebody did try to say something that I thought was fairly poignant. I think this particular commercial was meant to try to build some sort of unity, and it seems like all it did was actually divide everybody even further, which seems like it's kind of the case in point of everything that goes on lately. Everything's all about division. Everything's all about, how can we quantify everyone? How can we make sure that everybody fits in these little nice, neat categories so we can make sure that the categories never the two shall meet? Because if we can divide everybody and we can keep everybody separated, or I'm sorry, let's use the right word for it, segregated, because now they don't do it based on the color of your skin solely. They do it by race, they do it by religion, they do it by income level, they do it by employment status, they do it by living arrangements, they do it pretty much any way you can think of. They find a way to put you in a pigeonholed little category. And as long as we keep letting them do that, and we keep only focusing on the people that fit into our little pigeonhole categories, and we don't do anything to break out of our molds, we're all going to die. Because they want to keep us under control. In my opinion, this is the only thing I'm going to say about this commercial. In my opinion, that's the majority of what that was about. They knew what was going to happen. They knew there would be people that would rally around it. They knew there were going to be people that would go, what the hell is the matter with you? Like a girl doesn't really mean anything unless you're talking about Obama. Because he's the only one that legitimately does everything like a girl, and he ain't a girl. At least I don't think so. But anyway, so there's one last commercial I kind of want to touch on, and then we will move on to the rest of what I wanted to talk about during the show. Because oddly enough, it's already been almost 20 minutes, and it doesn't even seem like it. All right, so one last commercial. This one, honestly, even more creepy. Well, this one's just scary in general, but we're going to play it anyway, and then I have something I want to say about it.
Hey, wait! Gus, wait! Wait! I'll never learn to ride a bike. Or get cooties. I'll never learn to fly. Or travel the world with my best friend. And I won't ever get married. I couldn't grow up because I died from an accident.
At Nationwide, we believe in protecting what matters most. Your kids. Together, we can make safe happen.
All right, so the Super Bowl, you know, the well, what is it like hell, what do they normally say about the commercials at the Super Bowl? It's like the Broadway of commercial time, I guess is one way to put it, because, you know, when your commercials are on there, you've made it to the big time, baby, because first of all, you can afford to pay $5 million for 45 seconds. Second of all, you usually try to do something to make this big splash and make everybody laugh, which is normally how the commercials go, except for this year. Everybody went really dark this year, especially, you know, I mean, this one, the Like a Girl commercial, that one was kind of meh. And then the one that I didn't even realize was a commercial at first, and then I'll go back to this one. Right after everything, they did this little commercial that started out with a view of the dome where the game was, and all of a sudden the TV started acting up. And I bet you everybody in the world went, holy crap, the service is going out. And it turns out to be a car commercial. First of all, whoever you are that came up with that idea, burn in hell. Just saying. Okay, no, not really. Probably actually a pretty good marketing ploy, because for about, well, except for the handful of people that probably died of coronaries last night because they thought their TV died during the Super Bowl. But, you know, so I don't know what it is. It seems like almost all the commercials were dark this year. Collective unconsciousness, maybe? Not to sound like Art Bell for a moment. But, you know, so we go back to this one, where instead of this happy-go-lucky, you know, I mean, come on, this was a Nationwide commercial. What happened to the dude? Nationwide is on your side. You know, I mean, you couldn't have done the football commercials that have already been out for forever with like the football players singing the thing or something. No, you had to go completely dark side and show everybody these pictures of this cute, normal, everyday, all-American kid who at first you think, oh, he's like, I'm never going to learn how to ride a bike because he's riding after his bigger brothers or friends on a tricycle. And then, or I'm never going to get cooties. And then there's a picture of a girl, or the video changes to a girl trying to kiss him on his cheek. Turns out the reason none of these things are going to happen is because he died. What the hell is the matter with you when you decide that's a good way to sell insurance? First of all, I have to be completely honest with you. And sorry, I hate Sean Hannity. Can I just say that now? Yes, we are on a website together, and I do listen to a few minutes of his show on the way home when I can. But now, unfortunately, every time I ever hear anyone say the phrase, first of all, I think of Linda, and the fact that anytime anybody says first of all, it makes them back up and say it like Linda, especially if it's Linda, because, you know, she's got that New Yorker accent, so it's first of all. But anyway, so sadly, that pretty much runs through my head all the time. Damn you, Sean Hannity. So anyway, back to what I was saying a moment ago. Told you it was going to be an odd one. It's been a really long day, folks, and I didn't do a show Saturday, so I planned on come hell or high water. I was doing one today. I'm slowly wondering if that was a good idea, because it seems like a stream of consciousness episode. But hey, who knows? So anyway, so somebody decides it's a good idea to basically put together this commercial that could have been a cute commercial, you know, could have shown the kid growing up, finally learning how to do all of those things, and talking about how having insurance kept him safe. No, we had to talk about how all of these kids die from accidents. Really? So now even on our commercials we've gone to it, if it bleeds, it leads? It's bad enough that it's all over our media. It's bad enough that now you're taking what is supposed to be an escape. I mean, even I took the entire night off last night. Had a house full of people, had some food, had some fun, yelled at the TV, yelled at the kids who were running around like crazy people because we couldn't hear the TV. But, you know, it was an escape. And then these commercials came on, and the escape went away. I spend a good portion of my day dealing with the dark side of a lot of things to try to make sure that I have things that I can bring to you guys' attention that maybe you don't know about. So when I take the time to turn on something that is supposed to be entertaining and supposed to take my mind off of things, then I have to tell you, when even the folks that are trying to sell ads go dark, if I had nationwide insurance, which I don't, but if I did, I would be canceling them today to get the point across that, you know, we have enough bad crap in the world. We don't need our commercials to start mirroring the bad crap that goes on in the world. Can I just be completely blunt with you about that? We don't need that. We don't want that. Thank you very much. Go away. Plain and simple. Nationwide, you completely drop the ball. You actually runt a good portion of it because, you know, here's the thing that you guys don't think about. There are lots of us that lost loved ones this past year. And every time you play something stupid like that, it brings it all right back into the forefront for a lot of us. So thanks for single-handedly almost ruining the Super Bowl. Nationwide insurance, thank you very much. That was the one that pissed me off. I'll let you guys that are all up in arms over the like a girl thing talk about that as much as you want to. I'm not a girl, so I'm not going to get involved in that one because then I'm going to be some sort of racist, homophobic, sexist pig, which since I'm a conservative, I pretty much already am by default. But that's another story for another day. At this point, we are going to go ahead and take a little bit of a commercial break here in just a couple seconds as soon as I get a few things queued up. Because you know me, always running on the fly, never have anything ready. It's just kind of how we roll around this joint, I'm just saying. I finally found it. All right, we will be right back, folks.
K98 Talk is expanding its lineup for 2015. This means we are expanding our advertising base. Whether you're a startup trying to push through to the next level or an established business trying to supplement your advertising budget, web-based advertising is a solid investment. Thanks to Talk's newest partnership with TuneIn Radio, and instant access to our sister station, K98 FM, we give you worldwide access at a reasonable cost. Interested parties should email us at sales@k98fm.com.
Tune into The Family Factor with Denny C. every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday morning at 5 a.m. as he looks at all the challenges facing the family today. Denny will give you a refreshingly new look at tackling some of the biggest issues. So start your day off on the right foot with Denny C. and The Family Factor, right here on K98Talk.com.
This is Misty, owner of Wax It Studio in Edmond, Oklahoma, and I'm here to talk to you about a skincare product called Theramedics. Theramedics has a wonderful line of products from anti-aging to hyperpigmentations all the way to acne. In fact, everyone at some point in our life is affected by acne. Acne can cause a great deal of embarrassment and anxiety, and in order to prevent and help other people, I have tapped into this wonderful product called Theramedics. Visit my website at www.prettyskindeep.com. Again, that's www.prettyskindeep.com.
In today's world of profit-driven news, no one just tells you how it is anymore until now. Opinion Nation, hosted by Bryce Robbins, gives you the facts, then waits for you, the listener, to provide the opinion. So tune in every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern, 10 Central, starting soon on K98Talk.com and the Spark Radio Network.
For her own cause, we got a pen and telephone to bypass all your laws. Political correctness will replace the Bill of Rights. Support religious freedom, lest you pray to Jesus Christ. The press is in our pockets cause there's no longer free. You cannot make a move now that the NSA can see. Don't expect equality, respect for fair play. The IRS will target those who vote the wrong way. Welcome to the place.
All right, folks, we're back. We're live. This is America Off the Rails. And one point of order there. Apparently, I need to get to work on some of these promos because Bryce's show is no longer coming soon. It actually airs every Saturday at from 10 to 11 Central. So, yeah, feel free to check that one out. Actually, I'll be kind of doing a point-counterpoint on some of the stuff that he brought up on his last show tomorrow. Actually, and then the plan is to actually have a guest on Wake Up America, which is the show that airs with me and Denny right after this one. We have Ruthie from the Ruthie Report. We've been kind of talking back and forth about possibly adding her show to the lineup. Since we are getting closer and closer to finalizing stuff, I thought we'd let her hang out tomorrow with us from about 7 to 8 Central, or honestly, she may come on mine first too. I'm trying to push for the later time slot just cause, but you know, whatever. Either way, but we will, if whichever show she comes on, whether it's mine or the one that I do with Denny, we'll actually spend most of the hour talking about illegal immigration because that's typically one of the things that she focuses on quite a bit with her show. So we do plan on having that for you tomorrow night as well. Now, back to what we were talking about. Now let's actually get into the meat of the Super Bowl. I have to say, up until the last few seconds, I had not seen a game like this one in a very long time. It was one of those it was fun to watch. It was exciting. It was back and forth. And then everything changed. You know, I mean, you had the Patriots who basically dominated the first quarter. Then they kind of petered out a little bit in the second quarter. The Seahawks picked up the slack, had the momentum going in from the half, got the ball back because they won the toss and deferred. Third quarter, they kind of brought it, and then fourth quarter, somebody let the air out of the Seahawks' tires, not the air out of the Patriots' balls. But anyway, bad pun. Yeah, I know. It's all right. It'll be all right. The pain will stop in a second. Okay. So anyway, and here's the thing. Did anybody else see that catch? That catch with about a minute left, where it was like the most amazing thing I think I'd ever seen in my life. This dude is like fighting with everything he's got to get that ball, and he tips it, and he's like, in the words of my father-in-law, or my brother-in-law, sorry, in the words of my brother-in-law, he was playing volleyball with himself to try to make sure that he was able to reel in that catch. And miracle of miracles, he does it. There they are with, what was it, about 22 seconds left? Anywhere from, depending on the reports you look at, it was either a yard to a half a yard. And then what did they do? I mean, come on. You have Lynch, the guy who's been pounding it through the line all night long. It's what he does. It's what you pay him for. He eats defensive linemen for breakfast because they're the only thing that fills him up. And you decide to throw the damn ball from the half-yard line. Now, depending on who you listen to, you'll hear everything from, bad play calling, somebody just wasn't paying attention, to, oh my God, Pete Carroll gave the Patriots the Super Bowl on purpose, was probably a fix. First of all, like I said, see, now you did it too. You did. Don't lie. Anyway, so now, like I said, I'm not a diehard sports guy, but even I saw that play, and I'm like, why would you not give the ball to Lynch? You had it. You had 20 seconds. Let him pound it through twice. He'd have made it. If not on the first one, he'd have made it on the second one. You had a timeout left. You could have ran it up the middle, taken the timeout, and done it again. Lynch would have pounded it home. Be an entirely different story today. Seahawks would have 2 rings. Patriots would still only have 3. But no, you guys. Actually, you know what? Before we get into this too much further, I do have one other clip I really wanted to play and then talk about. This was something we talked about a little bit on Finding Common Ground on Saturday. Was something Dave brought in for the 15 to 20 minutes that he was on with us on the phone. For those of you who listen to that show on a regular basis, if you missed Saturday's show, you may actually want to go back and check it out. We're having kind of an interesting thing going on for the next few weeks. On Saturdays, what will happen is it'll be me and Bryce together doing Finding Common Ground, because he's the only other liberal-leaning host we have on the network. And then, of course, we have his show. And then starting this next week, it'll be my show shortly thereafter. We were having some technical issues. A bunch of things happened behind the scenes, so I didn't get a chance to do my show this last Saturday. But I think that actually makes it a little more interesting, because you'll hear some of the stuff that we're talking about together, and then he'll peel off and give his perspective on some of the stuff that we've talked about, along with new stuff. And then I'll, of course, take some of the stuff we've talked about and some of the stuff that he's talked about and then tell you the truth on it. No, I'm just playing. Give you my perspective on it anyway. But anyway, so that being said, there is one clip I want to play real quick, and then we'll get back into, because it kind of ties into everything else that I want to talk about for the rest of the show. And I'm not sure if I'm going to play all of it, because honestly, when Dave starts having me trying to play clips, I usually zone out about halfway through. But we'll see how much of this fits, and then we'll come back if we need to.
But supposedly, there was riots in the streets, is the way it was being portrayed. They had fucking InfoWars.
And just as a warning, this does
Alex
have some
Jones network
so
of people, InfoWars, were fucking
kinda,
talking about it. They had some xenophobic British guy on there shitting all over America for being angry about the Royal Rumble, but not being angry about the fact that Yellowstone River has carcinogens in the water or some shit like that,
Well, we're just listen. We've already somebody's got to break it to this guy. We've already adapted to the fact that the planet is polluted.
Yeah.
That's just, I mean, for Christ's sake, how many people do we have on TV sitting there going, "Oh, climate change isn't real. Everything's fine. Our food's not fucked up." It's perfectly normal that MIT scientists are reporting that by 2025, literally 1 in 2 children will be born with a birth defect or autism. That's normal.
Yeah,
It has nothing to do with our food. Yeah, we've adapted to that. But you know what? Son of a bitch, if you let our undeserving, handsome Samoan win the Royal Rumble, we got to get pissed.
Well, let me go ahead and play this for everybody. It's fun.
All right.
Americans nationwide are rising up in unison to boycott a large corporation as a backlash against what they see as a grave injustice. Unfortunately, that corporation is the WWE, and the grave injustice is the Royal Rumble result. Under the hashtag Cancel WWE Network, wrestling fans are expressing their fury at the scripted result of a soap opera, namely the early elimination of fan favourite Daniel Bryan during last night's pay-per-view event. The hashtag soon went viral and began trending on Twitter. Wrestling fans cancelled their subscriptions en masse. There were calls for demonstrations outside WWE headquarters. Fans leaving the event at the Wells Fargo Center in Philadelphia staged protests and blocked cars. And all this over the scripted result of a wrestling match. There are corporations committing actual injustices on a regular basis, yet their actions don't attract 1/10 of the vitriol we're seeing being directed at the WWE for a wrestler being eliminated from the Royal Rumble. Biotech companies are about to release millions of GMO insects in Florida. Yellowstone River is currently leaking carcinogenic chemicals throughout the Yellowstone area. But who cares, right? Because Daniel Bryan got eliminated from the Royal Rumble. While Americans are deeply educated about the intricate details of NFL and WWE, for the most part they remain completely clueless about anything that actually matters, such as what any of their rights are and how they're being eroded. If Americans were equally informed about their constitutional rights as they are wrestling and football, would we see an equal amount of outrage when those rights are under attack? I'm Paul Joseph Watson reporting for Infowars.com.
All right, so I think I've let that nozzle go on long enough. Okay, so what I wanted to bring out here, this had a lot more to do with wrestling. Of course, big surprise. That was kind of one of the reasons why Dave brought it to the table. But he does mention the NFL a few times. The reason I kind of bring this out is because we kind of saw the same things going on after the Super Bowl. Everybody started talking about how the fix was in. This must have been scripted. There's no way it could have went that way. And I think it's just gotten to the point now where we just honestly think everybody cheats at everything. Now, I say this for a reason, because honestly, we have become a society where it seems like we're teaching everybody that the ends justify the means. If nothing else, that's basically what the Super Bowl taught a lot of kids last night. You don't believe me? Look at some of the stuff that was popping up on social media. Well, it looks like I'm among this camp now because thanks to Tom Brady, my children have now learned that it's okay to cheat as long as you win. I saw that come up over and over again last night. The thing that nobody wanted to talk about, and this is why I was bringing this up, because we always get incensed over all of this when it comes to our entertainment, but what about the fact that we know for a fact both sides have been cheating in elections ad infinitum for the past 20 years? Nobody says anything unless it's election time. Anybody who wants to try to fix it by making sure that somebody has to show an ID is all of a sudden a racist. But God forbid we try to do something different just to make sure that people aren't trying to cheat the system. Now, the other thing that nobody's really talking about when it comes to the NFL is honestly, if Pete Carroll's team had won last night, somebody still could have made the same argument about the ends justifying the means. If not, if you don't believe me, look him up. He used to be the coach at USC. When he left, that entire program was embroiled in all kinds of controversy, and he managed to get called up to work for an NFL team. I don't remember. I don't think he went straight to the Seahawks because I heard last night that there were a couple other teams that had him first. But I could be wrong. Like I said, I'm not a sports buff. I just kind of look at things and kind of put the pieces together. And the scariest thing about all of this is whether anybody wants to admit it or not, there is now this culture within the NFL that says the ends do justify the means. If you don't believe me, one of the folks that used to be part of the Patriots coaching staff went to Denver and got in trouble for doing the exact same thing that Belichick got in trouble for. Again, Pete Carroll apparently cheated his tail end off all the way through his coaching tenure at USC, according to things that I've been able to read and uncover. It even happened here in Oklahoma with Barry Switzer and the Sooners. I mean, we have started, and it's been going on for a very long time, we have taught people that the ends justify the means. And that is wrong on so many levels. And it kind of goes back to the same thing that everybody says we're teaching kids when you start telling them, well, you throw like a girl, or you hit like a girl. That's different to a point, because that's basically your feelings getting in the way. If you can't control your emotions, that's a problem. But that's why this win by any means necessary mentality really needs to stop, because it's happening everywhere. It happens in the corporate level. It happens in the sports world. It happens pretty much everywhere. I'll tell you the one commercial that honestly got to me last night, and it's the silliest thing ever, and I know it's only a gimmick because they're only doing it through Valentine's Day, but the McDonald's commercial that said, hey, call your mom and tell her you love her, and your tab's on us. Or give the family a group hug. That's how you're paying today. And the guy's like, no, really, tell me how much I owe you. And he was like, no, that's it. Just give him a hug. You know, that is important. I mean, you talk as much crap as you want about McDonald's, and yeah, it may be a gimmick. But still, the fact that they're willing to take a certain amount of their funds and say, you know what, we're gonna use this to try to make a difference and try to score some points for Valentine's Day. You know what, I gotta give them that. Because they said, you know what, money for the next few weeks doesn't mean quite as much as it did before. So we're going to try to use our products and our services to make a difference. And that's what they did. Like them, love them, hate them, think they're selling horse meat, really doesn't matter. The simple fact of the matter is there are going to be quite a few people over the next few weeks that get to eat and or get something courtesy of McDonald's for doing something silly like a fist bump or a high five or a hug or calling your mom. That was the commercial to me that made a lot of difference. Now, the one that I thought was the funniest, which sadly will not translate into radio, so I don't have the ability to play it, was the Fiat commercial, where the dude is like trying to take a Viagra and it bounces all over the place, and then suddenly falls into this gas tank of this old beat up car, and suddenly the old beat up car has new life. Now, to me, that was a funny commercial. It was one of the few funny ones I saw last night, which disappoints me because, you know, the commercials used to be all about bringing people in, making sure they were watching, making them laugh and giggle. Now it's about trying to prove a political point, which is crap. I deal in enough politics. I don't want my Super Bowl commercials talking about political crap, especially when it's something as silly as like a girl. Just saying. All right, so we are down to the last few minutes here. A couple things I want to talk about before we shut things down for the night. Of course, as soon as this show ends, it will go straight into a vintage episode of The Family Factor with my good buddy Denny C. He'll be with us tomorrow night from 7 to 8, and then, of course, you got me from 6 to 7. Now, as soon as his show ends tonight, we'll go into, I almost said Liberty Unfiltered, but that would be tomorrow, Wednesday night. We're going to have The Right War with Liz and Taylor, and then, of course, the Liz Harrison Show. And then tonight at 10, we will have the Late Night in the Midlands radio program Open Eyes from, I believe it's 10 to midnight, and then from midnight to 3, if available, we will have the latest episode of Late Night in the Midlands. If not, I will upload a replay. Lately, they've kind of been skipping Mondays, so we have been too, but I have enough of their stuff stored up that if nothing else, I can put one of their shows on in its place. So no worries. We're going to get back to trying to fill up as much of this stuff as we can with new and exciting content for you guys. One of the ones we would like to announce is, of course, the Ruthie Report. We're still debating on whether or not we carry that show live or as a replay. If I can get access to the replays, I'd actually kind of like to put it on during the day sometime, because we are starting to try to fill up some of our daytime lineup stuff. But anyway, she'll be with us tomorrow night. Last thing I really wanted to talk about in regards to this whole Super Bowl mess is, you know, first of all, again, why didn't you go with Lynch? I hope you know who you are. You're the guy who called that play. Whether it was the coordinator or the quarterback, jury's still out because I've heard it go both ways. But you know who you are, and you should have let Lynch run it in. Enough said. Now, one of the things that kind of annoyed me over the whole thing last night was as soon as things didn't go the way that they wanted them to go, all of a sudden the Seahawks started throwing punches. I don't know what is up with you guys when it comes to that, but you really should have just taken it like a champ and went home, because simple fact of the matter is you played your heart outs. Bad game calling, bad play calling, bad bit of luck cost you the game. And that's just all there is to it. You guys had quite a few breaks this season. Even you can't deny that. So you should have just been like, you know what? It wasn't meant to be. But again, the thing that disturbs me is now we've basically taught an entire generation yet again that, hey, it's all right to cheat as long as you win. Just ask Tom Brady, because now he's got 4 rings. Not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4. Now, the upside to this, he's 37 years old. I'm hoping this means he's finally going to call it a day and wobble off into the sunset. But hey, a guy can dream, right? So, I don't know. I think actually this will probably do it for tonight, folks. Like I said, this was, it's been kind of a long day, and I am kind of running on fumes at this point, and I did talk about the majority of what I wanted to talk about today. I'll be back with you tomorrow night from 6 to 7, and then we'll have the Wake Up America show from 7 to 8, and then we will go into, again, the Right War, and then the Liz Harrison show, and then Wednesday there will be a replay of my show. Sadly, it's time to deal with taxes, and I can't be in 2 places at once. So we'll have some vintage off the rails for you on Wednesday. I think I said Saturday a minute ago. But anyway, we'll have Vintage Off the Rail on Wednesday, and then Liberty Unfiltered, and, According to Me first, and then Liberty Unfiltered, and then Liz Harrison, and then Open Eyes. So that's just a bit of what we've got going on, and Denny actually is going to start doing something a little bit different with the morning lineup stuff while we start trying to fill up some space. So make sure you're checking it out in the mornings every day just to see what's there. And at this point, I am going to call it a night, folks. I am Rick Robinson, host of America Off the Rails. It has been my pleasure having you guys listen in tonight. I promise tomorrow night will go a little better. I'm kind of out of it today. So you guys have a great night. Don't forget, here in just a little bit, we will have the Family Factor Vintage episode live in primetime, and then we will have The Right War with Liz and Taylor. I almost said Taser. Sorry, Taylor. And then the Liz Harrison radio show. Again, I'm out for the night, folks. You guys take care, and remember, no matter what, don't drink the Kool-Aid. I don't care what color it is. Yes, I'm a conservative. Yes, conservatism works when it's tried, but that doesn't mean we always have all of the right answers, because we let too many rhinos in. Plain and simple. All right, folks, I'm out for the night. This is Rick Robinson. I am signing off. You guys have a good one.
For our own cause, we got a pen and telephone to bypass all your laws. Political correctness will replace the Bill of Rights. Support religious freedom, lest you pray to Jesus Christ. The press is in our pockets cause there's no longer free. You cannot make a move now that the NSA can see. Don't expect equality, respect, or fair play. The IRS will target those who vote the wrong way.